Well, with only one day left until government funding officially ends, Congress could pass, get this, a bipartisan spending bill tomorrow. It would keep Washington up and running past October. The $1.1 trillion proposal restores funding for our military, as well as paying for highway projects. It provides money for the president's plan to expand early childhood education. With me now, Allison Barber, a writer with the Washington Free Beacon. It seems like there are people on both sides of the aisle squawking about all of this, which means it's probably a pretty decent budget.
Right. Depending on which side you're at, you can kind of look through and find something you like and something that you don't like. I mean, for one thing that you will see bipartisan consensus on that they're happy with is that it corrects an issue that both parties had problems with in terms of the cost of living adjustment cuts that were made under the Murray and Ryan budget. They've changed that to where they provided an exemption for veterans with disability pensions. And that's something that I think you're going to really see both Republicans and Democrats rally around, because they had a big issue with that under the Murray and Ryan budget plan.
So no government shutdown in the near future, or so it would appear.
So it appears they do. It's a huge bill. I was talking with people that worked on the Hill this morning, and it is 1,500 pages. So they're kind of going through all of it right now. But if you listen to the Republicans' weekly address this morning, and they also had their behind closed door meeting, Speaker Boehner said that, you know, they had this thing and they were looking through it, and they hadn't made a decision yet on what they're going to do with it, but they were encouraged to have it and they wanted to have something passed. So it seems like it is probably going to line up to where they will get this passed.
The Republicans have been trying to defund, derail, decommission Obamacare. There are some cuts to Obamacare in this.
There are. It's a $1 billion cut to a program that's a part of the Affordable Care Act called the Prevention and Public Health Initiative. And basically what that does is it provides different money to public prevention initiatives. Like one of them is tobacco prevention initiative. And that's an area that Republicans had a problem with that because they thought it was very ambiguously written to where that money could potentially be used for a lot of different things. And so they were a little weary about that. And so that $1 billion has been cut from that program. So that's something that Republicans will be very happy about. But on the Democrat side, there weren't any real significant cuts to the funding of the Affordable Care Act.
So a $1.1 trillion budget, but it's tens of billions of dollars lower than what President Obama had wanted to spend on various programs.
Right, and this again goes back to sort of you have people squawking on both sides. It's $25 billion more in spending cuts than the Senate wanted, but it's $25 billion more spending money than the House wanted. So it has kind of come down to where it is in a bit of an in-between.
So the art of compromise is maybe alive in Washington after all.
It looks like it is for a little bit.
I was surprised to read it's $164 billion lower than President George W. Bush's last discretionary budget.
Right, it is. They say that that's when it's adjusted with for inflation, that it ends up being a little bit less, but it still is a significant bill. I mean, it's $1.1 trillion, which is a lot of money, but it's something that had to be passed. And I think from a Republican standpoint, they're seeing this as we kind of need to get this passed because we want to focus on jobs, a job report that we didn't think was good, and the problems with the Affordable Care Act. And they want that to be their focus moving in towards the election.
And for those in the private sector who haven't seen any kind of a raise in years and years, they'll be happy to know that our federal employees are getting a 1% pay raise out of it.
Right. I'm sure that will thrill a lot of people.
Allison Barber from the Washington Free Beacon.
Thank you.
Thank you.